Welcome to Zeeshan on Air Unedited, and I would like to dive right into the key topics and issues, and we'll share some key analysis, what happened last week and what's ahead, because things are moving fast, and especially those of us who don't remain up to date in terms of the actual nature of politics, and we tend to get swayed by sometimes popularism and popularity or just watching the news on surface and what's covered, but not getting into the in-depth analysis of why things happen and why things are why they are. And that requires some due diligence and some introspection and some research into each and every topic. So now today's session, I would like to make sure that those of you who have already subscribed, I really appreciate it, and those who have not, I would highly encourage you and urge you to make sure that subscribe us on your YouTube channel. This is your YouTube channel, and this is your channel, Zeeshan On Air Unedited. And those of you who watch this program through Facebook Live, there are thousands of our followers and thousands of my fans, as you would like to call it, and supporters. And also those who literally want to know what is exactly happening. And then also we're live on Instagram Live and also on Twitter. It used to be Twitter, now it's the X platform. So we thank all the social media platforms. Because of social media, we are able to consume a lot of information that troubles a lot of peacemakers and those who would like to see a peaceful world, and those who are anxious about future. Obviously they get that information also through social media. So we thank social media platforms that in today's day and age, in today's age of misinformation and propaganda, and also a lot of information is not covered and news is not covered the way journalism should be. And with that, I will dive right into the topic with regards to some interesting things that happen. First of all, with regards to 60 plus, almost 100 journalists. These are actually journalism professors. They teach uh, journalism in elite universities and colleges throughout the US. And almost 100 of them, they have actually wrote a letter to New York Times of their coverage of October 7th reporting. And basically, the gist of it is that accurate information and news is the duty of investigative journalism. So that is important because we see that the way October 7th tragedy, because it's still a tragedy, but based on a lot of other people who watch Middle East very closely, and for example, presidential candidate Cornel West, he actually considers the October 7th incident as a counterterrorism or counterterrorism activities or counterinsurgency, because whenever there is oppression and people who are oppressed, it's human nature that they will respond back and they will retaliate, because like Newton said that every action has an equal but opposite reaction, and you cannot suppress people to a degree where freedom, which is a given birthright to all the humans across the planet, especially if we're living on the same planet, then it's incumbent upon all those news outlets and those who call themselves journalists or they perform investigative journalism. So this was the letter to them by elite university professors of journalism at different universities and colleges across the US. So I would like to, point those type of things that are happening, and we would like to always focus on those areas as well. Now here I'm sharing some very I would say important and critical information with regards to this lady, and this is where um, a lot of folks, they are not getting the information that they should be receiving. And this lady, she also resigned recently, and she is Jewish and she's a staffer in the Biden administration. And she also resigned, and the reason was again Gaza. So over Gaza, she resigned, and then again, we would like to make sure that Jewish Biden appointee resigns over president stance on war in Gaza. Blood of innocent people. Blood, I quote, she said, blood of innocent people on his hands, unquote. And her name is Lily Greenberg Call. That's her name. And she's Jewish. So this is, again, another lady who basically has resigned a few weeks ago. The U.S. diplomat Raharit, she is a diplomat for 18 years, and she resigned from the State Department. So Bryson Biden has blood of innocent people on his hands, as you can see on the screens, and those who can see it, especially, I'm sharing it on other social media platforms. So I joined the Biden administration because I believe in fighting for a better America, for a future where Americans can thrive, one with economic prosperity, a healthy planet, and equal rights for all people. I have dedicated my career to candidates who I believed would have furthered this vision, unquote. Call wrote in her resignation letter to Haaland. So Jewish American Biden appointee is latest to resign in protest of Gaza policy. And then not only with regards to what's happening here, but also some other important news with regards to the situation that we are seeing developing very fast, and like I mentioned earlier about this information as well. Journalism professors call on New York Times to review October 7th reporting that was from Washington Post, and also to remove, quote, cloud of doubt, unquote. Journalism professors urge review of NYT story on October 7th. Sexual violence. Nothing can reverse, quote, reverse the damage done to Palestine and to Palestinians, unquote, said the professors. But, quote, but the Times could still reverse some of the damage it has done to itself with its silence, unquote. So a lot of people, they just go to these news outlets, and sometimes, and most of the times, especially when you're at a critical juncture in history, and when information is being presented in a way where accurate information is not being presented, then people and readers, they make up their minds, and then the policymakers, they also use that toward their own advantage, and that's where the special interest groups and lobbyists and all those who basically go to bat on behalf of these different donors or what have you, and that's how this whole cycle, vicious cycle of violence continues. So we got to speak truthfully with people, because truth eventually comes out. This is another X platform's tweet, or formerly tweet, right? And now I don't know what word is being used, but on X platform, this user wrote that this is a major development. It's been weeks since, quote, screens without words fell apart. The at New York Times, and she tagged her, Layla, should do the right thing and retract it and apologize for the journalistic malpractice. So a letter from 60 journalist professors to the New York Times call on the paper to independently review its, quote, screens without words, unquote, article. Very interesting. So did you know this? Probably not, because we are again not following news the way it should be followed, and especially paying attention to what's happening with regards to politics, also with regards to the various types of information that do not reach us. Another key, I would say, senator, and very few voices, in fact the only voice right now in Senate, in US Senate, and Senator Bernie Sanders, and I quote him, quote, Israel has gone to war against the entire Palestinian people, unquote. And he also said, quote, any objective observer knows Israel has broken international law, it has broken American law, and in my view, Israel should not be receiving another nickel in U.S. military aid, unquote, Senator Bernie Sanders said. And Lindsey Graham, on the other hand, if you look at this Republican US Senator, Lindsey Graham suggests Israel should nuke Gaza. That's right. That's what he said. Unfortunately, Lindsey Graham, he's a US Senator from the Republican Party, suggests Israel should nuke Gaza and claims Hiroshima bomb was, quote, the right thing, unquote. And that's what he said. Lindsey Graham compares conflict in Gaza to World War II. Very unfortunate. US Senator urges Israel to bomb Gaza like Hiroshima. And he tells Lindsey Graham tells West Jerusalem to do, quote, whatever, unquote, it takes to annihilate Hamas. Now, remember, this organization, yes, it is a terrorist organization as labeled by the US State Department and by the US government, but they are the ones who are living within civilians. So any child, and they say about 35 children who basically were murdered on October 7th, and it's been reported that over 12,000 children, in retaliation to those 35 children, have been murdered through this indiscriminate bombing by this country. So this is why you see on one side, the U.S. Senator, he is suggesting, especially U.S. Senator Bernie Sanders, that Israel should not get a nickel, right? And because international law and all these laws and Palestinians have been targeted, and you cannot do that. And on the other hand, this senator is suggesting, wow, just bomb them, bomb, and make another Hiroshima. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's important that we continue to raise voices. We continue to do whatever it takes in different platforms, remaining within the confines of the law. But at the same time, we are facing unprecedented situation, and the situation is out of a lot of people's hands now. I don't think it's now within anyone's control, within America's control, or within the Israel, or even people who are living in Gaza. Because when these types of indiscriminate mass murder that occur, and then the cycle of violence continue, and then the talking points by many on social media platforms and even on traditional media is just to focus on, the history basically started on October 7th, and no one is actually interested in resolving the conflict and getting to the root causes, then shame on all of us, whoever is living and breathing as I speak at this moment. Because yes, we are all busy with our own daily lives, with our professional work that we do in businesses or in our private lives, or whatever we do, in whatever field that we are in, sports, in arts and entertainment, or in any type of business or field that we are in. But that does not mean that the good and conscious people are not going to raise their voices. And that's exactly what is happening. I know that there's a protest that is happening in the state capital of Texas. That's where I am presenting you this program. And a lot of people are going on their own or through buses or what have you to the state capitol in the state of Texas. So a lot of good things are also happening. So don't basically be pessimistic at this time. Don't give up hope. The only thing we have to fear is fear itself, as President JFK said during his reign and during his presidency, that the only thing to fear is fear itself. And at the end of the day, we all have to also always speak up about humanity, because regardless of faith or background, the reason in the West, and especially in US and even in Canada and even in Europe, you are seeing hundreds and thousands and millions of people still protesting and raising voices through different platforms and channels, because humanity is at stake, and we cannot look the other way. And this is beyond politics, this is beyond humanity, this is beyond any one of us. And those egos that are larger than lives, and people think that we can just do whatever we can, those who have been entrusted with the power and with the trust that we have given to them, and we elected them at our local offices or at the state level or at the federal level, then it's also about how all of us continue to play that positive role and remind these individuals. There are very few of them who are actually serving in the best interest of humanity or in the best interest of constituents of many of them. And even I see some candidates, they are I don't know why they are even in politics. And this is just my personal opinion, because when I talk to them and when I ask them some key questions in terms of their plans or what they intend to do when they get elected, what have you, I don't get an answer. And that's where it's basically incumbent upon you and I and people who are listening and watching, that you do your job, I will do my job, and all of us will do their own jobs in their own, shape or form, whatever you choose that best fits your own schedules and your own busy lives. But that does not mean that we're just going to give up on humanity. So with that, very quickly, I will talk in Urdu and Hindi as well, because I also promised, and I did, some sessions in Urdu and Hindi. But today I will end this session in Urdu and Hindi. تو آپ سب کو میں ویلکم کرتا ہوں اور آپ کا استقبال ہے، سواگت ہے زیشان آن ایئر انیڈیٹڈ میں. کچھ انفارمیشن جو میں نے آپ کو ابھی شیئر کی، خاص طور پر 100 کے قریب جرنلزم کے پروفیسرز جو صحافت کے پروفیسرز ہیں یہاں پر امریکہ کی جو ایلیٹ آئی وی لیگ اسکولز جو ہے ان کے پروفیسرز، یونیورسٹی اور کالجز کے، انہوں نے ایک خط جو ہے وہ لکھا ہے نیو یارک ٹائمز کو کہ بھائی آپ کی اکتوبر 7 اکتوبر کی جو رپورٹنگ ہے وہ تو بالکل ہی ون سائڈڈ، اور جو آپ نے آرٹیکل لکھا ہے اس آرٹیکل کے بارے میں نے بھی تھوڑی دیر پہلے بتایا بھی کہ وہ بہت ہی غلط اس کے اندر انفارمیشن، اور انویسٹیگیٹو جرنلزم جو ہوتی ہے، جو خاص طور پر جانچ پڑتال کے ساتھ اور بہت ہی غور کے ساتھ کسی بھی مدعا یا ایشو کے اوپر جب بات کی جاتی ہے تو اس کو صحیح طریقے سے جو صحافت جرنلزم کا رول ہے وہ ادا کیا جائے. تو یہ اس کا بیسکلی لب لباب اور اس کی سمری تھی. اس کے علاوہ سینیٹر برنی سینڈرز انہوں نے کہا کہ بھائی اسرائیل کی جو اسٹیٹ ہے یہ تو پورا فلسطینینز، ان کے اوپر انہوں نے جنگ کر دی ہے، اور ساتھ میں ان کو تو ایک نکل، یعنی ایک جو نکل ہے وہ تک نہیں دینا چاہیے ایڈ میں، کیونکہ یہ تو انٹرنیشنل لاء کو جو ہے توڑ چکے ہیں، اور جس طریقے سے ان کی پوری کارستانی ہے ابھی تک. اور حالانکہ سینیٹر برنی سینڈرز جو ہیں بالکل واحد ایک ایسے سینیٹر ہیں جو اس طرح آواز بلند کر رہے ہیں. اس کے علاوہ بالکل اس کے اپوزٹ، یعنی اس کے بالکل جو الٹا اسٹیٹمنٹ ہے، بلکہ اس سے الٹا بھی نہیں، کچھ زیادہ ہی الٹا، وہ ریپبلکن سینیٹر جو لنزی گرام انہوں نے کہا کہ جو بھی ہو وہ کیا جائے، اور ویسٹ جیروسلم اور اس کے لیے، اور ساتھ میں جیسے کہ ہیروشیما پر بم گرایا گیا تھا تو وہ یہاں پر گرا دیا جائے. یعنی ایسی بات، اب یہ لوگوں کے اوپر ہے، خاص طور پر ان ریپبلکنس کے اوپر ہے کہ جو ریپبلکنس ہیں اور اپنے ہی جو پارٹی کے اور آپ کے اپنی ہی لوگ جو سینٹ میں آپ کو ریپرزینٹ کر رہے ہیں، اور یہ کیوں اس طریقے کی بات کر رہے ہیں، اتنی خطرناک بات ایک سینیٹر یعنی کہ کر رہا ہو. اور یہ رائٹ تھنگ تھی، صحیح چیز تھی جو ہیروشیما پر ہوا، اور اب ادھر غزہ پہ ہونا چاہیے. تو یہ چیز ہو رہی ہے. اور پھر ساتھ میں یہاں پر ذکر کروں گا خاص طور پر جو گرین برگ کال، للی گرین برگ کال، یہ ایک بائیڈن جو حکومت ہے اور جو انتظامیہ بائیڈن، اس میں یہ واحد جوش ایک اپوائنٹی تھیں ابھی، اور انہوں نے غزہ کے اوپر جو ہے ریزگنیشن اپنا دے دیا، استعفیٰ دیا ہے. اور یہ انہوں نے یہی کہا کہ بھائی میں نے اس لیے ہی جوائن کیا تھا اس حکومت کو کہ صحیح معنوں میں لوگوں کے لیے اور عوام کے لیے اور وہ کام ہو، اور یہاں پر ظاہری باتیں ایسی چیزیں نہیں ہو رہی ہیں. اس سے پہلے 18 سال کے ایک یو ایس ڈپلومیٹ کیریئر جن کا تھا، اور پورا ایک زبردست ان کی خدمات تھیں، ڈپلومیٹ راریت، وہ بھی ریزائن کر چکی ہیں چند ہفتے پہلے، انہوں نے اسٹیٹ ڈپارٹمنٹ سے دیا تھا. تو ایسی بھی چیزیں نظر آ رہی ہیں کہ لوگ جو ہے وہ اپنے طور پر جہاں جہاں ہے ان کی پوزیشنز، اگر وہ حکومتی لیول پہ ہیں یا ایڈمنسٹریشن کا حصہ ہیں، تو وہ اپنی پوری آواز ہی بلند کر رہے ہیں. اور جب وہ دیکھ رہے ہیں کہ کچھ بھی نہیں ہو رہا تو پھر وہ کہہ رہے ہیں کہ بھائی ہمارے ہاتھ جو ہیں وہ مت آپ رنگیں اس خون سے جو انسانیت کا خون ہے، کیونکہ یہ جو پورا واقعہ جو ہوا ہے یہ کوئی 7 اکتوبر سے تاریخ اسٹارٹ نہیں ہوئی ہے، اور جب تک ہم کسی بھی ایشو کے روٹ کاز کی طرف نہیں جائیں گے اور اس کو نہیں دیکھیں گے تو کوئی بھی اس طرح کے ایشوز ریزالو نہیں ہو سکتے. تو نیکسٹ پروگرام نیکسٹ ویک سیٹرڈے میں ملاقات ہوگی. اگر آپ نے سبسکرائب نہیں کیا تو پلیز سبسکرائب کیجیے، اس کو شیئر کریں، کیونکہ میرے اور آپ کے لیے یہ بہت ہی اہم وقت ہے کہ ہم جو ہیں وہ جو امیدیں ہیں، جو ہماری خاص خواب ہیں، اور انسانیت کے لیے، ہیومینٹی کے لیے جو آواز ہے، اور جو بھی لوگ اپنے طور پر کام کر رہے ہیں قانون کے دائرے میں رہتے ہوئے وہ کریں. لیکن اس کو سبسکرائب بھی کریں آپ چینل یوٹیوب پہ اگر آپ دیکھتے ہیں، اور تاکہ آپ کو جب بھی نیکسٹ ویڈیو آئے تو آپ وہ مس نہ کر پائیں. اور شیئر کریں، کیونکہ ہم ایک دوسرے کے ساتھ یہ انفارمیشن اور یہ جو آج کل کی زندگی جو اتنی مصروفیت کے ساتھ ہے، اگر اس میں ہم صحیح انفارمیشن اور نیوز اس کو نہیں شیئر کریں گے، اور سوشل میڈیا کا میں یہاں شکریہ ادا کرتا ہوں، اسی کے تھرو یہاں پر یہ انفارمیشن جو ہے آپ کے ساتھ شیئر بھی ہو رہی ہے، پیش بھی کی جا رہی ہے، ورنہ تو ہمیں پتہ ہی نہیں ہو کہ کیا ہو رہا ہے. اور ساتھ ہی ساتھ شیئر بھی کریں، سبسکرائب بھی کریں، اور لوگوں کو بھی بتائیں. اور میں یہاں پر ایکس پلیٹ فارم، انسٹاگرام لائیو، اور ساتھ میں جو یوٹیوب لائیو ہے اور فیس بک لائیو، ملٹیپل سوشل میڈیا پلیٹ فارمز پر آپ کے ساتھ آج کے پروگرام کو بھی شیئر کیا، اور اس کو اردو اور ہندی میں بھی میں نے سوچا کہ ضرور پیش کریں، اور اس کو شیئر کریں، اور اس کے ساتھ مجھے اجازت دیجیے. آئی ایم سائننگ آف. تھینک یو سو مچ. اپنا خیال رکھیے گا. تھینک یو.